Hey there, crew. Today I'm going to read you The Legend of the Indian Paintbrush. I love this story, and I love the illustrations that go with it as well. Many years ago, when people traveled the plains and lived in a circle of teepees, there was a boy who was smaller than the rest of the children in the tribe. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't keep up with the other boys and girls who were always riding, running, shooting their bows and arrows, and wrestling to prove their strength. Sometimes his mother and father worried about him. And then there's a group of teepees, so they're almost like triangular shape or like a pyramid shape or a cone, which is kind of like the home of some Native Americans. But the boy who was called Little Gopher was not without a gift of his own. From an early age, he made toy warriors from scraps of leather and pieces of wood, and he loved to decorate smooth stones with the red juices from berries he found in the hills. The wise shaman of the tribe understood that Little Gopher had a gift that was special. "Do not struggle, Little Gopher. Your path will not be the same as the others. They will grow up to be warriors. Your place among the people will be remembered for a different reason." So Little Gopher is a champion artist. And in a few years, when Little Gopher was older, he went out to the hills alone to think about becoming a man, for this was the custom of the tribe. And it was there that a dream vision came to him. The sky filled with clouds, and out of them came a young Indian maiden and an old grandfather. She carried a rolled-up animal skin, and he carried a brush made of fine animal hairs and pots of paint. The grandfather spoke first. "My son, these are the tools by which you shall become great among your people. You will paint pictures of the deeds of the warriors and the visions of the shaman, and the people shall see them and remember them forever." The maiden unrolled a pure white deerskin and placed it on the ground. "Find a deerskin as white as this," she told him. "Keep it, and one day you'll paint a picture that is as pure as the colors in the evening sky." And as she finished speaking, the clouds cleared and a sunset of great beauty filled the sky. Little Gopher looked at the white deerskin, and on it he saw the colors as bright and beautiful as those made by the setting sun. Amazing. Then the sun slowly sank behind the hills. The sky grew dark, and the dream vision was over. Little Gopher returned to the circle of the people in the teepees. The next day he began to make soft brushes from the hairs of different animals and stiff brushes from the hair of a horse's tail. He gathered berries and flowers and rocks of different colors and crushed them to make his paints. He collected the skins of animals which the warriors brought home from their hunts. He stretched the skins on wooden frames and pulled them until they were tight. So something amazing about Native Americans is that they reduced, reused, recycled. They never wasted anything. Everything had a purpose. And he began to paint pictures of great hunts. So you can see some of the buffalo and the warriors and the sun and the horses they're riding on. Of great deeds. He was telling stories through his illustrations and paintings. He even painted dream visions so that the people would always remember their dreams. Incredible. But even as he painted, Little Gopher sometimes longed to put aside the brushes and ride out with the warriors. But always he remembered his dream vision, and he did not go with them. Many months ago, he had found his pure white deerskin, but it remained empty. Because he could not find the colors of the sunset, he used the brightest flowers, the reddest berries, the deepest purples from rocks, and still his paintings never satisfied him. He thought they looked dull and dark and not bright and exciting enough. He began to go to the top of a hill each evening and look at the colors that filled the sky. to try to understand how to make them better. He longed to share the beauty of his dream vision with the people. But he never gave up trying, and every morning when he woke, he took out his brushes and his pot of paints and created the stories of the people with the tools that he had. One night as he lay awake, he heard a voice calling out to him. "Because you have been faithful to the people and true to your gift, you shall find the colors you're seeking. Tomorrow take the white deer skin and go to the place where you watch the sun in the evening. There on the ground you'll find what you need." Do you think it's another dream vision? The next evening, as the sun began to go down, Little Gopher put aside his brushes and went to the top of the hill, as the colors of the sunset spread across the sky. And there on the ground all around him were brushes filled with paint, each one a color of the sunset. Little Gopher began to paint quickly and surely enough, using one brush, then another. Paintbrushes coming out of the ground? And as the colors in the sky began to fade, Little Gopher gazed at the white deerskin and he was happy. He had found the colors of the sunset. He carried his painting down to the circle of people in the teepees, leaving the brushes on the hillside. And the next day, when the people woke up, the hill was ablaze with color, for the brushes had taken root in the earth and multiplied into plants of brilliant reds, oranges, yellows, and pinks. And every spring from that time, the hills and meadows burst into bloom. And every spring, the people dance and sing the praises of Little Gopher, who painted for the people. And the people no longer called him Little Gopher, but they call him He Who Brought the Sunset to Earth. So, Little Gopher, he who brought the sunset to Earth, was an amazing champion artist, and he used all the tools and materials that he could without wasting them. And is a legend always a true story? Well, no. But paintbrushes don't really grow from the ground, but flowers do, and that's because they are so beautiful and wonderful. That's why they called them the Indian paintbrush flower. So I hope you enjoyed this wonderful legend, and maybe it inspires you to use all sorts of tools and materials to create a work of art and maybe bring the sunset to Earth yourself. Adios, amigos.